I found myself juggling a mountain of responsibilities. Trying to get our fleet ships repaired and replaced while also constructing new fleets was no small feat. Recruiting, training, and assigning crew members to these ships was another Herculean task. On top of all that, I had to navigate the whims of self-serving senators who, cocooned in their echo chambers, remained blissfully ignorant. The absence of attacks on our main world, Orion, had temporarily heightened tensions, making the politicians more cooperative, but now those tensions were fading, and the politicians were, to use an old saying, returning to their arrogant ways. I don't see how sharing our advanced technology with the Federation could possibly benefit us, Senator Gareth Ronson grumbled, his tone dripping with insincere frustration. The tech we're offering is generations behind what we currently use. Plus, with tight oversight and counterintelligence measures in place, we have nothing to worry about. In return, we gain new fleets at unprecedented speeds, I countered. Sure, we get new fleets, but we're pumping money into an alien economy that we're not even trading with yet. My supporters are worried about this, Ronson said, his voice oozing with sarcasm. By supporters, he meant the corporations that funded his campaigns, corporations that would rather we build our own stations and fleets. Short-sighted fools, thinking they're the brightest in the galaxy when in reality, they're anything but. Yet in their own way, they make life interesting. The Federation has to employ a significant number of our own citizens to operate the stations and fulfill the orders, trainers, subject matter experts, and licensed professionals, I explained. The ships are being built to our standards, and the Federation is footing the bill for the personnel they hire. So we're getting a rebate, Ronson shot back sarcastically. Not just that, but integration. Your constituents could be swayed by pointing out that integration leads to trade and new market access. Our people on those stations will demand supplies from home that the Federation can't provide. Before long, there will be a surge in demand for trade networks, I continued, gesturing for emphasis. But if we reject this proposal, who knows how long it will be before we can secure trade guarantees. Ronson seemed deep in thought, likely crafting the right words to appease his corporate backers. After a few moments, he nodded and signaled his support, knowing full well that without corporate cooperation, a yes vote wouldn't mean much. Satisfied, I deactivated my avatar and turned my attention to the next matter at hand. Ship Commander Zev Tarana, a reptilian diplomat freshly graduated from the Diplomatic Academy, was about to have the most intriguing meeting of his career. The Directorate had been at a standstill due to a lack of intelligence on the Federation's intentions. Neither they nor the Senate would approve an intel-gathering mission yet, so I devised an alternative approach. Tarana had just completed his training, so he should have a good read on the Federation pulse. Plus, I was curious to see his reaction. So I just sit here? Tarana asked, his voice tinged with uncertainty. Correct, I replied. He sat down, and I activated the chat for him. He jumped slightly as the hardlight monitor and keyboard materialized before him. Confusion clouded his face until he realized what it was and who it was connected to. I savored the look of shock and horror that overtook his features. Director 1 has joined the chat. Director 2, and now we're all here. Welcome, Commander Tarana, a voice greeted him. Wait, what? Tarana stammered as he scrambled to type a response, his heart racing. Welcome to the world of diplomacy, Commander, I said, gesturing toward the monitor. This terminal translates for your convenience. Just type as you normally would, and I'll ensure your message gets across. Tarana muttered a curse under his breath as he familiarized himself with the keyboard and began typing. Commander Tarana, Omega Federation, at your service. Apologies for the delay, this meeting was unexpected, Tarana typed, trying to maintain his composure. Of course it was. We don't announce our meetings, especially ones as unusual as this, Director 4 responded curtly. Indeed, Director 9 added. The reason we're meeting is because of your proposal. Normally, we'd have our agents go through back channels to get the answers, but that would take too long and might provoke hostilities with the Federation. So we're going straight to the source. What's a source? Tarana asked, clearly unfamiliar with the term. It's a term used for the origin or main provider of information, I explained. In this case, it's you. Let's get to the point. We have questions about your proposal, and our time is limited. Answer quickly and truthfully, Director 9 interjected. Understood, Tarana replied, his fingers trembling slightly over the keys. How likely is it that the Federation will hire our technicians to work in their shipyards? Director 9 asked. Very likely. It's part of the proposed agreement, Tarana responded. Where will the materials come from? Director 2 inquired. We have several suppliers, both public and private, Tarana answered, glancing at my avatar for reassurance. Will the Federation allow oversight? Director 3 chimed in. Yes, Tarana confirmed, but there was some resistance. As long as our workers aren't exploited, it should be fine. Clarify exploited, Director 11 demanded. Overworked, Tarana clarified. That's not what I meant by oversight, Director 3 interrupted. Will the Federation allow you to ensure that sensitive technologies remain secure? Tarana looked at me, unsure how to proceed. I leaned in and clarified, they want to ensure that our personnel handles sensitive technologies, and they need oversight to guarantee this. Tarana nodded and replied, I'm confident the Federation will approve any oversight as long as it doesn't harm their citizenry. I get the feeling the Federation is desperate for this to happen. Am I right? Director 8 speculated. Yes, Tarana confirmed. The Omni Union is pressing hard. We need the technology you're offering and your military strength if we're to win this war. Not to mention the economic benefits, Director 13 added. I'm not an economist, but I suspect it would be a secondary motive. There won't be an economy if we're all wiped out, Tarana replied, earning a few chuckles from the directors despite his nervousness. Director 6, who had been fidgeting throughout the meeting, finally spoke up. What assurance do we have that our technology won't be used against us once the war with the Omni Union is over? Tarana took a deep breath before responding. With all due respect, we don't engage in wars as frequently as you do. There's posturing among the Federation members, but it's mostly localized and rarely escalates. As things stand, we have a numerical advantage, but with your technology, you'll still have a significant edge. Even if you share your current shields and weapons with us, your assurance lies in our mostly peaceful history. We'll neutralize our numerical advantage, but you'll remain technologically superior. Well said, Director 12 remarked. I see no flaws in your argument. Are there any further questions for Commander Tarana? Director 2 asked. The others responded with a chorus of, no. Thank you for joining us, Commander Tarana. You are dismissed, Director 2 concluded, and the holographic monitor before Tarana winked off. The commander visibly relaxed, sinking into his chair in relief. After a moment, he turned to me and said, please don't do that again. Meetings with the Directorate are rare for someone who isn't a director, I explained with a smile, but I can't make any promises. Tim is waiting outside to guide you to Captain Leonard, and remember, this meeting is classified. Tarana nodded, looking defeated but resigned. He gathered his strength and left the room, and I turned off my avatar, redirecting my attention back to the Directorate's discussions. Chapter 2. I was juggling several crucial tasks at once, coordinating the repairs and replacements of our entire fleet while simultaneously overseeing the construction of new ships. This alone was a monumental task, but adding to that, I had to manage the recruitment, training, and deployment of crew members for these vessels. All of this was compounded by the tedious necessity of dealing with arrogant senators who had entrenched themselves in their comfortable social circles, blissfully ignorant of the realities outside their bubbles. For a time, the absence of attacks on our homeworld had raised tensions, making the politicians more cooperative. However, those tensions were now fading, and these senators were, to put it mildly, returning to their old complacency. I fail to see how sharing our advanced technology with the Confederation would benefit us in any way, Senator Drain grumbled, his tone dripping with mock frustration. The technology we'd offer them is outdated by several generations, and with strict oversight and countermeasures in place, there's no real risk. In return, we'd see our new fleets constructed at unprecedented speeds, I countered, trying to remain patient. We might get new fleets, but we'd be funneling resources into an economy that isn't even allied with us yet, Drain retorted, his voice rising slightly. My constituents are concerned about this. By constituents, I knew he meant the corporate interests that bankrolled his campaigns, corporations that would much prefer to see us build our own facilities and retain complete control. Short-sighted as they were, they fank.